He is 18 years old. He plays for Barcelona. He plays for Spain. He is already one of the most feared attackers on the planet, and defenders who have played against him at the highest level say the same thing every single time. They knew what he was going to do, and they still couldn't stop him. That is not normal. That is not just talent. That is a system. A repeatable, learnable system of movements, decisions, and physical habits that Lamine Yamal uses every single game. And in this video, we're going to break down every single part of it so that you can start using it too. We're talking about his body positioning, his first touch, his speed mechanics, his favorite skill moves, and most importantly, the psychological tricks he uses to freeze defenders before he even touches the ball. Everything in here is backed by real footage and real coaching principles. There are no shortcuts in this video, just pure, honest information that will genuinely make you harder to defend against. Let's go. Before we talk about skill moves and footwork, we need to talk about something that almost nobody discusses: the mental model that Yamal uses every time he gets the ball. Most young players receive the ball and immediately start thinking, where's the defender? Should I go inside or outside? Should I pass? That delay, even if it is just half a second, is enough for a good defender to set their feet and take away your options. By the time you have decided, they are already ready. Yamal does the opposite. He has already decided before the ball arrives. Watch him in any Barcelona game, and you will notice he scans constantly, turning his head to check over his shoulder, checking the position of the fullback, looking at the space in behind. He does this 3 to 5 times before he even receives a pass. By the time the ball is at his feet, he already knows exactly what he wants to do and where the defender is standing. This is called pre-scanning, and it is one of the most studied skills in modern football. Research from the Swedish Football Association found that elite players scan their environment up to 0.5 seconds more frequently per possession than average players. That half a second is enormous. It means you are operating with more information, making better decisions, and moving with certainty instead of hesitation. Here is how you train it. In your next training session, make a rule for yourself. Every single time you are about to receive a pass, you must look over your shoulder at least twice before the ball arrives. Do not wait until you have the ball. Make the scan before. You will feel awkward at first. You will miss touches. That is fine. After 2 or 3 weeks of doing this, it starts to become automatic. And when it becomes automatic, you will start to understand why Yamal always looks a step ahead of everyone else. But here's the thing that takes it further. Yamal does not just scan to know where the defender is. He scans to know how the defender is standing. Is there weight on their front foot or their back foot? Are their hips open or closed? Which direction are they leaning? A defender who is leaning onto their right foot is already beaten if you go left because they have to transfer their weight before they can react. This is not complicated. It is just information, and Yamal collects it obsessively. Start thinking this way, and you will start seeing the game differently. The ball is almost secondary. The real game is happening before it arrives. Right? This is the chapter that coaches talk about in training sessions, but players almost never actually focus on when they are playing matches. And it is probably the single biggest difference between a player who looks dangerous with the ball and one who just runs fast and hopes for the best. Yamal's body shape when he receives the ball is not an accident. It is a calculated position that he gets into every single time, and it does 2 things at once. It opens up the maximum number of options for him, and it gives the defender almost no information about what he is about to do. When Yamal receives the ball wide on the right, his natural position, he almost never receives it facing the touchline. He receives it with his body half turned towards the pitch. His hips are angled inwards. His shoulder is dropped slightly towards the defender. What this does is let him see the whole pitch in front of him. He can go inside onto his stronger left foot. He can spin outside. He can play a pass backwards or forward. He can drive straight at the defender. He has every option open. The defender does not know which one is coming. Now compare that to a player who receives the ball facing the touchline, back to the pitch. That player can only really go one way, forward along the line. Their options are limited by their body position, and the defender knows it. Defending that player is genuinely easy because you just show them the touchline and force them into a dead end. Getting your body shape right costs you zero extra energy. It does not require pace or strength or years of technical training. It is purely a habit of positioning. And the good news is that you can start practicing it today, even without a ball. Stand in your garden or your bedroom and practice receiving imaginary passes with your hips angled towards the center. Feel the difference. Then take it to training. Here is the specific drill. Find a partner and stand about 10 meters apart. Your partner plays the ball to you. Before the ball arrives, you have to call out inside or outside to tell them which way your body is opening up. Do this 20 times, alternating randomly. The goal is to make the half-turned receiving position feel completely natural, not something you have to think about. Yamal's body shape is so well-trained at this point that even when he is under pressure, even when a defender is tied on his back, he still manages to get that half-turn in before first touch. It is a reflex. You want it to be your reflex too. One more thing, the shoulder drop. Yamal regularly lowers one shoulder as if he is about to go in one direction, then goes the other way. This is a deliberate trick. The human eye naturally follows the shoulder because the shoulder leads the body in most movements. By dropping the wrong shoulder, he creates a moment of confusion in the defender's brain, just long enough to create a gap. You will see this in the next chapter when we break down his actual skill moves. This is the chapter everyone came for. Let's be completely honest. Yamal does not have 40 different skill moves. He has about 6 core moves that he executes with absolute perfection, and he uses them in smart combinations at exactly the right moments. Learning 40 skills and using them randomly is a waste of time. Learning 6 skills deeply and knowing when to use each one is how you become unplayable. Here they are, the inside cut. This is Yamal's most used move and the foundation of everything else he does. He receives the ball on the right, shapes as if he's going to cross or play it down the line, and then cuts sharply inside on his left foot, driving through the gap between the defender and the next line of defense. The key to making this work is the pace of the cut. A lot of players do this move slowly, and defenders can simply shuffle across and contain it. Yamal does it at full pace. He accelerates into the cut, not after it. The acceleration and the cut happen at the same time, and that simultaneous action is what breaks the defender's ankles. To drill this, set up 2 cones about 5 meters apart. Approach at jogging pace, touch the ball outside to simulate a wide touch, then cut sharply inside and accelerate past the second cone as if it is a defender. Do 10 repetitions, then increase your approach speed. The goal is to make the cut explosive from the first day, not slow and tidy. The fake cross. Yamal shapes to cross the ball. Full body lean, hips turning, non-kicking foot planted as if the cross is coming. And then at the last moment, he pulls the ball back inside. Defenders who are tracking potential cross targets in the box are not watching his feet at that moment. They are watching his body language, which is screaming cross. When the ball does not come, they look back and he is already gone. This one takes a bit of courage because you have to commit to the fake shape. A half-hearted fake cross fools nobody, but a full commitment shape, where you actually look like you're going to deliver the ball, is devastating against defenders who respect your crossing ability. Build your crossing first, then the fake becomes genuinely threatening. The Maradona turn. This is the most technical move in his repertoire, and also the most spectacular. Yamal uses it when he is under heavy pressure from behind and needs to escape tight spaces rather than beat a defender in open play. He pins the ball with the sole of his foot, rolls it across his body, and completes a 180 or 360-degree turn to come out the other side, facing a different direction entirely. The mechanics. You stop the ball with your right sole, drag it across your body to the left while your body pivots clockwise, and complete the turn using your left foot to accelerate away. The whole movement should take under a second. If it takes longer, a good defender will recover. The step over into acceleration. This is almost embarrassingly simple, but Yamal times it so well that it still works against professional defenders. One step over. Not 3, not 5, just 1, followed by an immediate change of pace. The step over is not the move. The change of pace is the move. The step over just shifts the defender's weight. One step over, then go. That is it. The mistake most players make is doing 4 step overs and then wondering why the defender is still there. Multiple step overs give the defender time to read you. One step over disrupts their weight. Then you explode. Practice it as a single fluid motion, step over plus sprint. Not step over, pause, sprint. One action, the disguised pass. This is less of a skill move and more of a decision that looks like a skill move. Yamal will receive the ball, shape as if he's going to drive at the defender, draw the defensive pressure, and then slip a pass into a teammate who has been freed up by the fact that 2 defenders are suddenly looking at Yamal. It is technically just a pass, but because of the body language and the situation, it functions as a move. The defenders are beaten before the ball has even moved. This requires a high level of awareness because you need to know where your teammates are before you draw the press. Again, scanning. It always comes back to the scanning. The directional first touch. This is not a dribbling move in the traditional sense, but it functions like one. Yamal's first touch regularly takes the ball away from the defender and into space in a single action. Instead of stopping the ball at his feet and then moving, his first touch is already a movement. The ball goes to a space that he is already accelerating into. By the time a defender reacts, the first touch has already done the job. To practice this, you need a rebounder or a wall, and you need to deliberately angle your first touch into different directions. Touch the ball to your left, accelerate left. Touch to your right, accelerate right. Touch inside, accelerate inside. The goal is to make your first touch purposeful and directional every single time, not just comfortable. Let's talk about the physical side. Yamal stands at about 180 centimeters and weighs around 73 kilograms. He is not enormous. He is not the strongest player on the pitch, but he has specific physical qualities that make his dribbling terrifying, and most of them can be trained. First, step speed. Yamal's acceleration over the first 3 to 5 meters is exceptional. This is not about top speed. It is about how quickly he can go from standing still to maximum velocity. In sports science, this is called first step quickness, and it is largely trainable with the right exercises. The most effective drill for this is the sled push. Load a training sled with a light weight, somewhere between 10 and 20 kilograms, and push it explosively for 5 meters, sprinting through the finish. Do 6 to 8 repetitions with full recovery between each. This builds the fast-twitch muscle fibers in your glutes and quads that fire in that initial explosion. If you do not have a sled, resistance bands work too. Attach a resistance band around your waist, have a partner hold the other end, and practice explosive first steps against the resistance. Even 10 minutes of this twice a week will produce noticeable improvements within 6 to 8 weeks. Low center of gravity. Yamal stays low when he dribbles. His knees are bent, his hips are down, and his upper body is compact. This does 3 things. It makes him harder to push off the ball because his base is wider. It makes direction changes faster because he does not have to sink down before changing direction. And it makes him less predictable because small upper body movements can send signals that his actual movement does not follow through on. Training this means adding hip mobility and squat strength work to your routine. 3 sets of bodyweight squats and lateral lunges 3 times per week, focusing on depth and control. Over time, getting low starts to feel natural, and you will start staying low automatically when you have the ball. Ankle strength and stability. Yamal does things with his ankles that most players cannot do. Tight rolls, sudden stops, cuts at angles that should cause injury, but never do. This is not natural invincibility. This is the result of ankle stability training that young academy players do constantly. Calf raises on one leg, 3 sets of 15 reps per leg, 3 times a week. Balance exercises on an unstable surface, a balance board if you have one, or just standing on one leg with your eyes closed for 30 seconds at a time. Strong, stable ankles make every single touch more reliable and every cut safer. Core control. Every time Yamal is shoved, bumped or pushed by a defender, you will notice that he rarely falls over or loses the ball. He bends and absorbs the contact without losing his feet. This is core strength, not abs core, the deep stabilizing muscles that keep your upper body balanced when your lower body is moving in unpredictable directions. Plank variations for 2 to 3 minutes per session, side planks, and rotational exercises with a medicine ball. None of this needs to be done in a gym. A bedroom floor and 15 minutes 3 times per week is enough to build a foundation. Everything we have covered is valuable on its own. But to actually implement this and start feeling the changes in your game, you need a structured approach to practice. Here is a simple weekly framework that covers everything we have discussed, designed for players who train 4 to 5 times per week. Session 1. Technical Foundations. Spend 15 minutes on directional first touches against a wall or rebounder, focusing on taking the touch across your body and into space. Follow this with 10 minutes of the basic moves in isolation. Inside cut, step over in a sprint, fake cross. Just you a ball and some cones. Not against a defender yet. The goal is to make the movement patterns automatic at pace. Session 2. Scanning and Awareness Drill. Find a partner and play rondo games, possession exercises in a small square. Impose the rule that before every touch, you must point in the direction you intend to move the ball. This forces scanning and pre-decision making. Alternatively, add a third person whose only job is to shout a number just before you receive the ball, and you have to call it back. This creates cognitive load while on the ball and trains your brain to process information even under pressure. Session 3. 1v1 duels. Get a defender and run structured 1v1s. Start at 10 meters, drive at the defender, use your move, beat them to a target. Do 15 repetitions. Then add the psychological element. Use the same move 4 times in a row, then switch. Notice where your defender starts to anticipate. That is the moment to change. Session 4. Physical work. First step quickness drills with resistance or sled. Single leg calf raises and balance work. Lateral lunges for hip mobility. Core planks. 20 minutes is enough. Consistency over weeks is what produces results here, not single intense sessions. Session 5. Match application. Play small-sided games and deliberately apply everything. Set yourself a simple challenge for each game. Beat your direct opponent at least twice using a real move. Not by just running past them, by using a skill with intention. After the game, reflect for 2 minutes. What worked? What did the defender do to stop you? What do you try differently next time? That last 2-minute reflection is more valuable than you think. Elite players in academies across Europe do video review sessions after every single game. You probably do not have access to video review, but you have access to your own memory, and taking 2 minutes to actually think about what happened is the closest equivalent most young players will ever do, and almost none of them do it. Lamine Yamal did not become Lamine Yamal by accident. He grew up in Rocafonda, a tough neighborhood in Mataró near Barcelona, where he played in the streets and small courts before Barcelona's academy found him at the age of 7. He spent over a decade developing these habits through thousands of hours of repetition, feedback, and competitive pressure. He made mistakes. He lost duels. He had sessions where nothing worked. The difference between him and most players is not talent, though he has plenty of that. The difference is that he did not stop when it was hard. He understood, probably before he could have put it into words, that losing a duel in training was just information. It told him what he needed to work on, and he worked on it. Every drill in this video is something you can start today. The scanning habit, the body shape on receiving, the first confrontation in matches, the physical work. None of it requires a professional academy. None of it requires expensive equipment. It requires time, attention, and the decision to treat every training session as an opportunity to get one specific thing better. One thing at a time, one session at a time. That is how it is done. Now go train.